Hi guys, so let me give you a full declaration. I have never invested in cryptocurrency. One, two, I invest in stocks, and of course, in Canada I have interests in bearing products and all of that stuff. But I don't give investment advice. I'm not a licensed investment advisor. This is just for entertainment purposes, right? So first thing is, since this whole situation with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, definitely people have been shining the light. The eye of Sauron has turned towards Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all that stuff. Now, frankly, FTX is more about lack of corporate governance. I think Sam Bankman-Fried went over. This thing was all too much for him and he couldn't manage it. And I think that this thing went haywire. And I don't know what's going to happen, but it seems as if customer funds are not there. That just simply means that they did not do their fiduciary responsibility and hold the customer's funds, and that because they're acting like a broker, right? So let's forget about that whole stuff with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, but it has shone a light back on cryptocurrency. Now, Bitcoin is down tremendously. It's down over 70% year over year. Now, think about it. If you have an investment and it's down 70%, if you put 100,000 in there, you are down to now about anywhere between $25,000 and $30,000, right? You are now really, really underwater. And one of the big things is, I've always asked this question: what determines the value of Bitcoin? Simple question. What determines the value? And I've asked several different crypto bulls what determines the value. If I ask a bear, the bear is going to tell me the value of crypto is it's speculation, right? It's what another person will pay you for this cryptocurrency. That's all it is. And I've asked bulls, and they have talked about use cases and all of that stuff. But one of the important things is, for me, as someone who, listens to Warren Buffett and, has invested before, one of the key things is that any investment is supposed to pay you back over time. And so if I invested my money into, company A, and company A was giving me 4% return, that means that in 25 years, hypothetically, I'd get back my money plus still hold the security. So that's what they call PE, right? PE ratio. Well, that's not PE, that's return, dividend yield, right? But so that's would pay me back over 25 years, and I still have the security. The issue with Bitcoin is there's no assets back in Bitcoin. There's no company behind Bitcoin, and there's no underlying assets behind Bitcoin. The only selling point it has is that it is scarce, and that scarcity is artificially controlled. So what that means to me is, it's that I tend to agree with the bears that Bitcoin is based on speculation, and people who invest in it, a lot of it is it's like the 1849ers, right? It's the gold rush. People are hoping to get rich quick, and some people, a lot of times, what's happening online, and I find it very strange online, is that you have this hashtag HODL, hodl, and it's supposed to mean you hold it regardless of how low the Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency goes. You hold it because somehow it's going to bounce back, because technicals say that. But one of the things with Bitcoin that I have noticed is it needs air. Like everything, it needs air, and air is new investments. Without new investments, what happens is, you have just sellers, or you have holders and sellers. You need buyers. And what's happening now is, I don't see a catalyst for people to buy Bitcoin. Now, for me personally, I would not. I would purchase something if it has an underlying asset, because if I purchase a bond or a stock or a security, I'm expecting that it pays me back over time. If I'm just doing, saying that its value will grow, I'm not into that. Artwork, gold, and different things are like that, but that's not my expertise, right? So I would not, I don't deal in those things. But, simply just wanting income back or something, I'm looking for a return. And that's the question no one has ever answered on Bitcoin. How does it provide you with a return? Now, the question here is, can Bitcoin go to zero? And my thought is yes, it could go to zero. Now, do I think it will go to zero? I don't think in the short run it will go to zero. But over time, people are going to have to figure out what is the intrinsic value of Bitcoin and how can it become valuable. And if that question is not answered, it could very well go to zero. And so definitely I look online, and one of the main thing I notice is Bitcoin sometimes takes, and a lot of cryptocurrency takes on something like a religion. People believe that, this is somehow, people breaking away from central banks and having independent currency, and it was supposed to be a hedge against inflation, and we have seen it's not a hedge against inflation, and it's traceable. So what is its use case? And I tend to believe that right now, as it goes down, I mean, it could bounce back up, it could go down further, all of that stuff, but for me personally, I just don't know right now what is the next catalyst that will work for it. And the truth of the matter is, I am not sure if a lot of people who hold it understand what the next catalyst will be. Are they just holding on to it to be stubborn, or holding on to it because they're bag holders? I don't know. And a lot of people who are encouraging people to invest in Bitcoin or to hold, they're not declaring their self-interest in Bitcoin. And that's the funny part about it. Once you get something unregulated like this is where people lose a lot of money. They lose a lot. And as I said, I don't give investment advice, so I can just be a spectator and just watch it. And one day we'll see where Bitcoin ends up. But for me, I just don't see how it generates income, how it generates value. I just don't see that. Thanks, guys.